For decades, one of the biggest and frankly deadliest mysteries in cancer research has been metastasis. It's usually not the first tumor that's the real killer, it's the cancer's ability to spread all through the body. But how does it do that? How does a cell that's just sitting there suddenly learn to travel and set up a new home in a totally different organ? Well, let's dive in because some incredible new research is finally cracking that very code. So, it all really boils down to this one question. You've got a tumor, right? A bunch of cells. But what is the switch that gets flipped that turns some of those cells from just a local problem into a full-blown body-wide threat? To find that answer, scientists have been zeroing in on one prime suspect. And, well, that suspect is this fascinating biological process, a kind of cellular transformation that gives these cancer cells a dangerous new identity. It's called the epithelial to mesenchymal transition, or just EMT for short. So what exactly is EMT? Okay, think of it like this. An epithelial cell is like a reliable factory worker. It's stuck in one place, it's connected to all its neighbors, and it's just doing its job. But during EMT, that cell goes through this radical change. It cuts ties with its neighbors, it changes its shape, and it becomes this mobile, independent operator, a secret agent, right? Ready to go rogue and infiltrate new territories. And wow, this visual just shows you the change perfectly. Over on the left, you see those normal epithelial cells all packed together, nice and orderly. But look at the right. After EMT, they've become what we call mesenchymal. They're scattered, they're stretched out, they honestly look like they're ready to crawl right off the screen. I mean, they've literally gone from being those factory workers to full-on secret agents. Okay, so for the longest time, the thinking in the scientific community was that this single transformation process, this EMT thing, gave these secret agent cells a kind of package deal of deadly abilities, like a two-for-one special on superpowers. And these are the two superpowers we're talking about. First, you've got the mesenchymal properties. This is the secret agent's ability to move, to change shape, and break away from the main group. But the second power? Stemness. Oh boy, that's arguably even more dangerous. This is the ability to not just travel, but to actually start a brand new tumor, to build a whole new evil layer in a completely different part of the body. So this led researchers to a really critical question, one that you might be asking yourself right now. Is this really a package deal? Does becoming a secret agent automatically mean you also get the power to build a whole new network? Or could a cell learn to move without ever gaining the ability to start a new tumor? This is the mystery that's at the very heart of this new breakthrough. And the answer, get this, it was hiding in plain sight, in one of the most basic, fundamental processes of life. Cell division. Researchers found a way to actually pull these two deadly powers apart, to separate the ability to move from the ability to actually cause metastasis. And you don't have to take my word for it, it's right here in the research paper. The scientists lay it out plain and simple. These two programs, movement and stemness, can be uncoupled. And the key, the absolute secret ingredient you need to gain that tumor-forming power of stemness is cell division. So how'd they figure this out? Well, with this incredibly clever and, honestly, pretty simple experiment. First, they triggered that secret agent transformation in the cancer cells. But at the exact same time, they used a drug to hit the pause button on cell division. And then they just watched to see which superpowers the cells actually got. Okay, and this slide right here, this is the eureka moment. Look at the top path. When EMT happens and the cell is allowed to divide, boom, it gets both powers. It becomes mesenchymal, it can move, and it gets stemness, it can form new tumors. But now, check this out. On the bottom path, where they blocked cell division, the cell still transforms. It still looks like a secret agent, but it doesn't get the stemness. It can move, but it can't build a new base. And here is the visual proof, straight from the lab. A key test for stemness is whether a cell can form these little spheres in a dish. On the left, you see the cells that transformed and divided. Look at those big, healthy spheres. That shows they have that tumor-starting power. But on the right, where division was blocked, almost nothing. I mean, they look the part, right? They're all dressed up like secret agents, but they've got no license to kill. They've lost their deadliest weapon. And this wasn't just in a petri dish, you guys. When they actually tested this in mice, the results were just staggering. Blocking cell division during that critical transformation window slashed the cell's ability to form new tumors by a factor of 10. I mean, a tenfold reduction. That is a massive, massive effect. Okay, so we've established that cell division is the key. The next big question is, how? What's the actual molecular switch that gets flipped here? Well, the researchers pinpointed this key protein. It's called ESRP1. And the best way to think about it is like a biological safety lock on a weapon. When ESRP1 is present and active, it keeps that whole stemness program locked down tight. The cell just can't access the machinery it needs to start a new tumor. And this chart just lays it all out, crystal clear. Check out the first bar. When cells go through EMT and they divide, the level of that ESRP1 safety lock just plummets. It's gone. But now, look at the second bar. When EMT happens without cell division, the ESRP1 levels stay high. The safety lock stays firmly on. It's the act of dividing that pries that lock off. Okay, so this is all really cool biology, right? But what does it actually mean for a patient? Why does this matter? Well, it completely changes how we can identify the true signature of a dangerous cancer. This is where it gets really important for doctors and patients. For years, doctors saw that mesenchymal signature and thought it was a really bad sign. But this research shows it just means the cells can move. It doesn't actually predict poor survival. The real red flag, the one that strongly predicts a poor prognosis, is the stemness signature, which only shows up after cell division. That's the one to watch for. So let's just boil this all down to the crucial takeaway, right? It's not enough for a cancer cell to just look like a secret agent. That doesn't make it truly deadly. The real danger, the real threat, comes when that agent also has the power to build new networks. And the genetic signature for that network building ability, that's the stemness. That is the true predictor of how aggressive a cancer really is. And this brings us to the fundamental new rule that this research has basically written into the textbooks. It's a simple distinction, but it's so powerful. All the super dangerous cells, the ones with stemness, they are also mobile secret agents. But, and this is the big but, not all of those mobile secret agent cells are actually super dangerous. The agent can exist without the master plan. And that leaves us with this really powerful, provocative final thought. We now know there's this specific moment in time, cell division, happening during this transformation where the safety lock is removed and a cancer cell gets its deadliest power. So, if that single moment is the key that unlocks metastasis, could finding a way to target that exact moment be the key to stopping it in its tracks, to locking that door for good?